the time is working so that we're almost we have very little left at the end.
Yeah.
So we could, switch this up a little bit and just do a certain amount. However, we are covering a lot of ground over here, and these are filling in a lot of blanks too. So, so let's see. Right now it's 5:56. Well, what time do we have until?
6:14.
That's 20 minutes, more or less. Okay, let's do 10 minutes over here. Let's see what we could do. And we're on page Kuf Nun Vav. So now we're starting the Inyan of Tzitzis. Well, he says we're on the second drush. It said Inyan of Tzitzis. Reading across the top, it said Inyan of Tzitzis. Da. Bezoar Parsha Shalach L'chol. Ohr Makif Tzitzis Meloshin Histaklos. Over there it says that it means to look at something, or looking or gazing at. Kamo Matzitz Min HaCharachim. So you like looking through the cracks. Gam tzitzis meloshin v'yikachene b'tzitzis roshi. Yeah, this is one of my favorite. This phrase I actually read it at my sister's yard site, I think, at the Kiddush, and this matzitz min harakim, and I think it was the last time they let me talk. It was really actually spellbinding, I thought, but at any rate, that was the Zohar over there. V'gam tzitzis meloshin v'yikachene b'tzitzis roshi. So he says it taken from the tzitzis of my head. Now, what's that all about? He said, so then it means that it's like an aspect of hairs. Hanikroim tzitzis, which now over here we're calling tzitzis. So we want to explain this. Ki tzitzis, who's so Ohr Makif el kol za kula. So the concept of tzitzis is for the entire za. Alav Omer Brazal, the Rebbe said, Melamed shenis atef hakodesh baruch betalis levona. So try to think about this one here, that a Kodesh Baruch Hu wraps himself in a white talus. So on number Aleph at the top, it says, you're supposed to read it right through. Go to the next one. Haram mevacha v'malchu haloshin shel tzitzis. What's pshat over here in tzitzis? So v'tevis tzitzis, he meloshin histaklus kamoshin emar. So it's the language of looking at something, as it is said. He meloshin histaklus kamoshin emar matzitz min harachim. V'tevis matzis. So that word matzis, shehi loshin histaklus, which is the idea of really gazing at something or looking into it. Korova l'loshin tzitzis. So it's very matzis and tzitzis. It looks pretty much similar. But the ficha gam tzitzis he meloshin histaklus. V'chein tzitzis he gam meloshin akaza v'yikachene b'tzitzis roshi. So then there's another one that has the same word tzitzis in it, and here it talks about grabbing a hold of something on his head. But Kavanah sepaz v'yikachene b'tzitzis roshi koi al saras harosh. So what's the saras harosh got to do in here? So he said number hey, he says she'elachas saras nekroim tzitzis, the hair called tzitzis, okay? V'atach rab bevarim Mehai bechinas hatalad, mehai bechinas hatalad v'le'ezer bechina he meremes ba'olamos al yonim. So what is the reference here between the tzitzis and the upper worlds? V'hu shara bebeged shel hatalas hanikra tzitzis, the garment itself, who Ohr Makif al kol partzif hazakula. Now, when he read this the first time, it seemed like he was saying that it's the tzitzis themselves, or what, cover. Well, he says, "Hu makif al kol parts of hazakulo." So what we do, he said that this is what I'm trying to say. You're supposed to wrap it around your shoulders to your chest, and that's where he said to wrap. It's a question in my mind. Is that how does this cover the whole zav? That's all you're putting it on that place. Over here, he says it covers the entire body. Maybe he means that, I'm not sure. So then he says, a Kodesh Baruch Hu is called, well, who is it called? Asher Olav Amar Chazal, Melamed Shemisate Kodesh Baruch Hu Batalas, and Ishachazah. Okay, I missed that. Zeranpin is called the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Nisate Batalas Levona, he is clothed in a white talis. Shiha Ohr Makif Agoda Shabo. Shabo misatev called parts of hazach. So this is what Zah uses to cover his whole body. So he says, "L'marchu mevarach osana shenivnim zo shenavim zo." So he wants to really bless us, so we should be able to understand what's going over here. He says that when you're wearing your talis, you're actually wearing the concept is, or the kavanah is, that you're wearing the garment, the white garment of zeranpin. So, and it's the makif. Let's go to the next one. Tam lama eina gedusha chal ala talis v'ala tefillin v'ala tefillin chal gedusha. Ein hagedusha chal ala talis v'ala tefillin chal hagedusha. The gedusha doesn't really hold on the talis, he says, but rather on the tefillin. V'isha Ohr Makif gadol ma'od, since this light is so powerful. Ve'ein banu koich lahasigo, and it's not possible for us to be able to appreciate it or reach it. He said, "V'lechein ein kedusha chala al talis atzmo k'mol tefillin." So therefore, the kedusha is not on the talis so much as it is in the kedusha. Now, the way he said that was, he said, because it's a makif. So he says, v'nizra. So he says, atzmo k'mol tefillin. I don't know what this nizrak is in here. But the tzitzis themselves, they come out from the talis, we can appreciate them more or understand them more. That's interesting. So let's see over here where we're at now. He says, number Yud. He said, since the light is so strong, that is a tremendous light. So I'm not sure what that phrase means. Now we are sitting like it just, I don't know. We are physical. Ein banu koich lahaskik as or we don't have the ability to be able to reach the light, to be able to understand the light. Agadol chashal makiv shal talis agadol. V'chein ein anu ein lonu. Shuman Hagas Kedusha Begufa Talis Atzma. We don't have any Kedusha that we can work with the Talis. Kamal Tefillin, like Tefillin said, for example, Shatzarek Lin Hog Behem Kedusha. Now, I'm not sure what he means by Lin Hog Behem Kedusha. Kehat Tefillin Oram Cotton Minatalis. So, I'm not sure what the implication is. Because the one has light, which is so great, and so therefore it just remains outside of us. But in the case of the tefillin, which has a smaller amount of light, there we have to deal it in a way as if it's linhog bechem kedusha. V'yicholim ana lahasik as or tefillin, so we can reach the light of that tefillin, and that tefillin, in other words, it can be personal to us. But the nohagim bechem kedusha, so therefore we have a certain amount of kedusha. I guess it means, maybe you could tell me better, but you could drop your talis on the floor; it's not a big deal. But if you drop your tefillin on the floor, that's another problem. So the talis is so strong, and the light of it, that we really can't connect ourselves to it. Because its light is so great. So therefore, so therefore we don't have to have any sense of kedusha with it. V'after the zrokas of talis, you could throw the talis down. Because we really don't handle it in a kedusha way. But this is really just talking about the concept of the garment. So he says, "Aval or arba betzitzias," but the light of the Ohr Makif, the light itself, that's a sort of this makif itself, which is associated with the talis. The mekevin shel Ohr Makif shel arba tzitzios, that since the surrounding light of the four tzitzis, who or yoser katan Ohr Makif shel talis, but since it's a smaller light, a less powerful light. So that we who are physical, Yesh lana v'chem yozer hasaga min talis. We're more connected to that, so therefore it becomes more. I really can't see exactly how this works. That the fact that we have more hasaga, and therefore that we have to deal with the kedusha, whereas with the talis we don't. Mishum kachat tzitzios, they're called tashmisha mitzvah. They're called what would you say, an aid to the mitzvah. Should srichen linchog behem kavod, so that you have to deal with them in a kavodic way. Adayim srichen the vayr kan achila sheyesh ben talis shuhu habeged the ben tzitzios atzban v'od choser l'moed ba'od Be'ezra Hashem. So we'll come back when the time is right. We'll come back and get it again. Now let's see. We're at 6:06. So if we're going to come over to this next place, I think we need to move over there now. So, but it's cumbersome for me to do.